Hey, what's up, Silver Stackers? Thank you so much for being here. This is Silver Slayer. Has silver failed us? Did we make the wrong choice? Well, hopefully you know the answer to that question, but I'm sure a lot of people are getting that question wrong and saying, yeah, I did. Maybe I shouldn't have listened to my friend. Maybe those other people were right. Maybe I should have put my money in stocks or crypto. Well, there's a lot that goes into silver's natural price discovery. Because to be honest, silver has no price. Silver has no value. You cannot peg a fake dollar's price or worth to something that has real value, intrinsic value, value within itself. No matter who says that coin, that 1 ounce coin, is worth what, is irrelevant because the price of that coin, the value, is the 1 ounce inside of the coin, not the price tag that's attached to that coin. You get what I'm saying? So anyways, hopefully by the end of this video, if you're someone that ever even doubted the slightest bit of, maybe silver was the wrong decision, I'm just going to put a lot of things into context to really get the ball rolling and connect the dots for you. So anyways, let's jump into this. I want to show the 10-year chart because, first of all, the average price of silver for the last 10 years has been $15. I started my channel in 2015. So you see, I've been, stacking, talking about silver, yada yada, around $14, $15. I've been telling people, silver is a great investment. And then I remember the July 2016 high of $21 silver. We celebrated like someone, like our team won the Super Bowl. All it was $21. See, a lot of people got desensitized to the pricing over here, right? They got desensitized because they started in at that price. I mean, it makes sense. If you buy in at $30 and all of a sudden you see your investment down to $18.61, it's only natural that you're going to feel, a little worried. Actually, a lot, it makes sense. But if you're someone that understands silver's true value, regardless of how far in the red it is, it doesn't matter. And actually, it would only make you happier because then you could take advantage buying more silver, getting a better price, lowering your dollar per ounce average, and inevitably just at the end of the day having more silver for cheaper. Like I always tell people in the beginning, get as much silver as you possibly can for as cheap as possible. And when the price is down, there you go. But for some reason, people invest into things that they don't understand the value in and don't have faith in. So when the price is down, they get worried and they panic sell. But if you're getting into something and you don't know its value, so then when the value goes down, you panic sell. That means you shouldn't have got into that in the first place. That's gambling. That's not investing. Investors make strategic decisions based off information. Gamblers throw money at the wall, hope it sticks, with the odds highly against them. Right? Investors tweak the odds in our favor by looking at things that, that have patterns and understand how or what makes that investment valuable, and then putting that, comparing that to the economy or the way the economy's headed, and then we can kind of see what makes sense, see what has the best possibility of making profit, which if you look at everything given the circumstances, silver makes the most sense by far. But it's not just a straight line up, folks. It's not just a straight, rocket ship to the moon overnight, especially when we're talking about precious metals here. We're not talking about crypto exploding from $1,200 to $18,000 within like a 6 or 7 month time frame. We're talking about something that has real value, where supply and demand, physical supply and demand actually has an effect on the price. It's not just purely based off speculation like crypto is, or even the dollar. The dollar is only as strong as people think it is. And when people start to think the dollar isn't strong, it literally isn't strong because it has no other value besides perception. And that's also why it's so dangerous. At least gold and silver have some type of fundamental value to it. And that's also why it's called a safe haven, because markets can't just collapse from people thinking something. Yes, speculation does start to have more of an effect nowadays than it did back in the day, and that's why you all know, if you watch my channel, I hate that S word. But regardless, markets are bound to change. Times change. Things change. Prices change. What affects the price changes. Your stacking strategy is going to change. The type of silver you like is going to change. It all changes. All we can do is adjust and adapt, or kick and scream. You know, if you want to be successful, you have to learn how to adjust and adapt with the times. A lot of people are still stacking as they were in the 70s or 80s, and that's why they're having a hard time nowadays, you know, because markets change and you have to learn how to adjust with the market. Or you could just be one of those people that say, "Oh, this isn't right. It shouldn't be like this." Or it shouldn't be, okay, but how is your perception on what it should or shouldn't be going to affect the outcome unless you adjust with it, at least without just complaining and trying to stick to the roots? You know, that's also why a lot of people have trouble even like adapting into cryptocurrency or something. That's definitely you know, I can see your point there. The whole point I'm trying to say is so that you have to learn how to adjust and adapt if you want to be a successful investor. That's what investors do. So, anyways, I have this article titled "Silver Price Forecast: Silver Markets Have a Wild Ride." It was written on Thursday, July 21st, but it still really brings just, you know, the volatility factor, the crazy pricing. I mean, they talk about silver easily could fall below $15 in this article, and people that read this would probably be crapping their pants from just, whoa, what am I really getting myself into? See, I look at this as, hey, you know, maybe I should hold off buying silver for a couple weeks because maybe I can get a lot cheaper. That's just the back of my mind, but the other true silver stackers, like, you know what? I'm still sitting in my bed till 1 in the morning looking for silver to buy, which actually I just did spend like $400 on silver and I only bought 3 coins. I mean, I easily could have got almost a tube of generics, but I decided, you know what, I want these 3 coins. And that is perfectly okay. If you buy what you like, you'll never make a bad purchase in your life. I am also a heavy collector, not just a stacker for weight. You shouldn't do my way personally unless you really, you know, understand some of the markets of these coins or have, you know, an idea of what the coins could be worth someday, or even if you just like collecting, do what you want. There's no wrong way to buy, but these coins could definitely go wrong when you go to sell them unless you have certain sources, and if you're patient enough, or if you just don't ever plan on selling them and you just want to hold on to it because you like it. Regardless, I'm going to be unboxing those 3 coins. Man, I'm excited. I'm excited. I'll share one of them. I got the 2021 Morgan dollar MS70 version, and that makes a lot of sense to me because they stopped producing Morgans in 1921. They brought them back 2021. It's a century later. It's the 100th anniversary. The first year they brought them back, it's an MS70 version. And I think it's like one of the first releases or something, even though I know those words usually don't mean anything. But, you know, imagine in 20, 30 years from now, I have the MS70 version, a flawless, perfect, slabbed version of the first time they brought back the Morgan silver dollar. I mean, that's a no-brainer. It's going to be worth 10 times the amount. I can guarantee within a decade, probably even by Christmas time, around the holidays, that coin will probably be doubled in price. It makes sense to me. It makes sense. You know, even though it's a newer coin, you usually don't want to get newer coins slabbed. I mean, in my opinion, like a 2022 Panda buying an MS70 version is kind of silly. But regardless, unless you're willing to hold on to it for 20, 30 years. But regardless, that coin definitely made sense. And I have 2 more coming that I'm not going to tell you yet. It's a secret. Sorry, I've been rambling a lot in this video. Let's jump into this. So, silver has fallen initially during the trading session on Thursday, but turned around after the ECB raised interest rates, putting downward pressure on the US dollar in general. And actually, let me show you something. Right? Here's a 10-year chart. Let me show you compared to the dollar. Look at this. As seriously like a negative correlation, a direct negative correlation, you could call it. You know, like when the dollar's high, silver's low. When the dollar's low, silver's high. And if you want to get really interesting, you can look at crude oil, which is very similar, and that's why I always talk about crude oil prices are a great way to look. But then look at like the S&P 500. Ultimately, this is a market that continues to see a lot of noisy behavior, and therefore I think it's probably only a matter of time before we see sellers come back into the market and push this commodity even lower. You know, and he's saying, you know, with noisy behavior, a lot of negative you know, articles getting written out there about silver's going to keep falling lower, just like this article is going to talk about, even getting below 15. It makes people want to sell. So that's why I try to make videos like this saying, you know what, if you sell, you're going to sell yourself short, and you're going to be kicking yourself in the butt within 5 years saying, how did I sell when the spot price was $18? Because you will be wishing you could build a time capsule, a time machine, and go back and pay $18 for an ounce of silver. A lot of people will. The demand should suffer at the hands of the lack of demand, or so the demand for silver should continue to suffer at the hands of the lack of demand. And at this point, I think it's a fade the rally type of market, and it's probably only a matter of time before we see sellers coming back into the picture. The $20 level above should be a significant amount of resistance at this point. It's probably only a matter of time before we fall apart. So he's saying, if you guys think silver prices are falling apart now, just wait until the sellers come back in. And he says, and then they're saying, even if it does try to get above $20, there's a lot of resistance and it's probably going to fall back down. Even if we do break above the $20 level, it's likely that we will see sellers coming into the market. Then, of course, 50-day EMA. The 50-day EMA sits at $20.73 level and it's dropping. Ultimately, this is a market that I think at the first signs of exhaustion, there will be plenty of people getting involved. If we break down below the bottom of the hammer, it's likely that the bottom falls out and will be sliced through the $15 level. You see why I wanted to make a video on an article like this, just written Thursday, the day before the weekend. So this is, this is stuff that, it's important to tell this stuff, but there's so much more than just a technical analysis. If you can incorporate the charts and all that, but also incorporate it with what's happening in the economy moving forwards and how that's going to affect the price, that's a much clearer picture. Because if you just look at the numbers, you're gonna drive yourself crazy. You also have to remember why we invest in a silver. Yes, the price might keep going down, but talk about the medium to long term of how bullish it truly is. And people don't really look at that part or don't understand why we invest in the silver. So they just read this and they're saying, oh, it's going to go lower. Really should get out now. Not realizing that actually in a couple of years, things will be a lot different. And everything is pointing towards silver stackers getting the last laugh. And I think that's why a lot of people also resent silver, because they got into it before and they sold, or some situation happened and they're mad because they made a mistake and they were wrong, or they weren't patient enough or something along those lines, and they get they get resentful. And it does make sense. Most people lose money stacking silver. Most people do. They're not patient enough, they didn't understand what they're getting into, or they bought at certain prices and sold at certain prices, or just didn't know how to sell. There is wrong ways to sell. Maybe they didn't sell to the right places. Maybe they sold to the local coin shop when they could have sold on eBay and get the full premium back or the full amount back. Or it's very dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So I try to make a lot of educational videos. Another thing that's pretty crazy to think about is, when I was stacking, like, let's go to the 10-year. When I was stacking in 2015 stuff, we would talk about like $15 silver, and I would always talk about the day that you could sell for $50, right? $50 silver. That was always like the big number, because that's what it was 2 times before. Well, crazily enough, last couple of years, we've seen $50 silver. You could sell your silver for $50. It wasn't the spot price, but Amazon, a couple other places, even on eBay, you could sell silver for $50. Eagles were going for $50 on Amazon like hotcakes all day. So we're already living in a time where we see $50 silver, whether it's spot price or the physical price. What's the difference? If you still have to pay $50 out of your pocket, or you're still able to get $50 for your coin, what's the difference? It's just a word. It's just 2 words: physical price versus spot price. And like Bank of America and all these places that actually did predict $50 silver at the end of 2021 weren't necessarily wrong, because people were buying and selling silver for $50. And it's kind of funny to say that, but it's true. So yeah, put things in perspective for you. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to wrap this video up here. If you thought this video was educational, informational, at least entertaining, make sure to hit the like button. I didn't go into even a fraction. I didn't even scratch the surface on the amount of reasons that we buy silver, that we stack silver. You could add them in the comment section. You know, I didn't go into anything. I was just kind of explaining, you know, to the people that are maybe on the fence why they should stick through it. I didn't even explain why we stack silver though. So anyways, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. Thanks for tuning in. If you think this video deserves a like, please like it. If you think my channel is worthy of a subscription, please subscribe, because I do post daily. I post all different types of stuff. I'll always keep you in the loop. Thanks for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.